In the late 1990s, the United States wine industry was a $20 billion machine built on centuries of tradition, prestige, and sprawling historic estates. But beneath that refined surface, the market was suffocating. More than 1,600 individual wineries were locked in a fight to capture the exact same stagnant pool of consumers. When a market gets this crowded, products become commodities. Profit margins shrink as companies relentlessly undercut each other to survive. This is a red ocean, a competitive environment so vicious the water turns bloody. In a red ocean, the default instinct is to benchmark your rivals and try to edge them out. You spend millions trying to be 5% better or a fraction of a dollar cheaper. Eventually, the costs of competing outweigh the gains, and a company's growth flatlines. To see exactly how trapped these wineries were, we can map their business models using the strategy canvas. This is a diagnostic tool that plots the key factors an industry competes on along the bottom, things like price, prestige, and aging quality. The vertical axis shows how heavily a company invests in offering those specific factors. If we map out a traditional premium wine brand, the resulting shape, called a value curve, sits extremely high on the graph. These companies pour massive resources into expensive marketing, elite packaging, and lengthy aging processes. Now look at the budget wines. Their curve sits much lower on the graph, but it follows the exact same shape. They compete on identical factors, just scaled down to hit a cheaper price point. When you plot all 1,600 wineries on this single chart, the lines blur together into an indistinguishable overlapping mess. From the market's perspective, every single company is operating with the exact same strategic profile. They are all trapped by the value-cost trade-off.
This is the business dogma stating that a company must either create high value at a high cost or offer reasonable value at a low cost. You choose differentiation or you choose cheap. Because every winery accepted these rules, consumers faced a wall of identical bottles covered in confusing terminology. It looks like endless choice, but mathematically there are only two options: expensive complexity or cheap complexity. It is a trop for the businesses and a frustration for the customer. An Australian winery named Casella realized that looking at their 1,600 rivals was a waste of resources. To escape the trap, they ignored their direct competitors entirely. Instead of surveying wine drinkers, Casella studied the people who drink beer and ready-to-drink cocktails. They looked at alternative industries to figure out why the vast majority of American adults were actively avoiding wine. Consumer feedback from outside the wine world was consistent. The average American avoided wine because its complexity and terminology felt intimidating and pretentious. Catering to existing customers keeps you fighting over a shrinking pie. Learning exactly why people refuse to use a product allows a company to successfully engineer entirely new, massive demand. Casella used the ERRC grid, eliminate, reduce, raise, and create, to hack the strategy canvas, starting with a clean slate. First, eliminate. They completely eliminated aging qualities, historical vineyard prestige, and enological jargon, which added zero value. Second, reduce. They slashed the complexity of the wine's taste, making it sweeter and more approachable. They also reduced the range of choices, offering just two options, one white and one red. By aggressively eliminating and reducing these sacred industry standards, Casella required less working capital for aging and carried minimal inventory. They cut their own operational cost structure to the bone. Next, raise. Casella spiked retail store involvement. They dressed store clerks in Outback gear to make the brand highly visible and unintimidating right at the point of sale. Finally, create. Casella added entirely new factors that the U.S. wine market had never offered. They engineered a wine that was easy to drink, created true ease of selection, and positioned the entire brand around fun and adventure. The result was Yellowtail. By connecting these points, their new value curve cut a stark, mathematically distinct shape across the canvas. Within 2 years, it became the fastest-growing brand in the history of the Australian and U.S. wine industries. This divergent graph proves a crucial point. Yellowtail didn't grow by stealing market share from the other 1,600 wineries. By capturing everyday beer and cocktail drinkers, they engineered a blue ocean, an entirely new, totally uncontested market space. To prove this isn't an isolated fluke, we can apply the exact same mechanical visual hack to the fitness industry. For years, consumers had two choices. You could pay for an intimidating, high-end health club filled with complex machinery, or you could stay home with an exercise video, which offered privacy but lacked discipline. Curves Fitness looked at the millions of women avoiding both of those options. They applied the ERRC hack, eliminating the expensive pools and mirrors and reducing the total workout time to a flat 30 minutes. Then they created a layout the industry hadn't seen. They arranged non-threatening hydraulic machines in a circle to foster conversation, using equipment that required zero weight adjustments. Curves built a billion-dollar empire by ignoring the standard rules of what a gym was supposed to be. By capturing non-customers, they succeeded in a space where no one else was playing. Both of these companies achieved value innovation. This occurs when a company successfully drives costs down while simultaneously driving value up for buyers. They officially broke the value-cost trade-off. The standard model of competition traps businesses in a fight over a stagnant market. In contrast, value innovation ignores the existing pie entirely, focusing instead on drawing a completely new mathematical shape on the canvas. True competitive advantage isn't found by battling your rivals. It is found by utilizing a system that renders them completely irrelevant.